Well, hello there guys, and welcome back to another requested video here on the channel. Now this one comes as a video request by Landon Cooley, and he actually posted this comment about 1 month ago, and this is a perfect example of kind of, in most of my videos I usually mention how I kind of get sidetracked with a lot of the, things that I'm working on. Or just things happen, and this is a perfect like example of that. I actually started working on this video about 1 month ago when he first posted this comment, and that was like I think that day I began to start feeling sick, and that's when I didn't make the any videos for 2 weeks, or one, or I think it was only 1 week, but it may have been 2 weeks. And then when I came back, I found the IBM Model M, and I've been making a couple of videos on that. So this video is now it's now about another month later than originally when he posted this comment. So yeah, so sorry about the long wait, Landon, but I did want to actually do this video. I've actually been planning on doing a video on this before, because I've been wanting to do some more Linux stuff on this channel. Now my channel is mainly Windows based stuff, and that's not really necessarily like a bad thing, but it can be kind of boring just to do Windows videos all the time, and Linux can be very interesting to take a look at and do videos on. I think I've only made like one Linux related video, maybe two. But essentially what this is, the reason why that I wanted to do this is because this is a distribution of Linux that is specifically designed for Windows users that are making the transition over to Linux, and basically free software, because Linux is associated with free software. And this is actually based on the Ubuntu Linux distro, so it has a strong foundation, and it's gotten a lot of positive reviews. I've seen some other videos of it, and they have said that it is a really good Linux distro. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video, is just taking a look at how you can install this in a virtual machine or on a real computer. And this is probably going to be a two-part video. This first part is going to be taking a look at a brief little look at the website here, going through the whole installation process. And then the second video, if we don't have enough time in this video, is going to be taking a look at the actual operating system, in depth, and kind of my thoughts and what I think of it, pretty much. So on this website here, which is zornos.com, this is where you can actually download it. It's a very nicely designed website, but we're not going to be going through everything on this website. You can obviously come here and go through every little thing if you want. The only thing that we're going to be taking a look at is the download page, because this is one thing that I want to point out to you guys. If you are going to be downloading this, is that there's actually two current, and that's as of this video, but this will change in about 2 or 3 months. As of this video, there are two versions of Zorin OS. There's OS 9 and OS 11. And you might be wondering, well, why do they have OS 9 if they have OS 11? Well, pretty much OS 9, as you can see right here, is the long-term support release, and Ubuntu does this as well. They do LTS releases. I think it's like every certain number of releases. I want to say builds, but every number of like Linux releases that they make, they have a long-term service release or long-term support release, just shortened to LTS. And essentially what these releases are is they're basically supported for a longer period of time, which is why it's the long-term support release, LTS, long-term support. And essentially this would be for if you were using this in a environment where you did not want to have to update to an entire new OS version after you install this one. Because if you can notice here, OS 11 only gets updates until July 2016, which is in a couple months. I'm not sure how often that Zorin OS provides updates. I'm not sure if it's a year cycle or a 6-month cycle. I'm not sure how often that they make a new version of the OS. But in July 2016, they're going to be, cutting off support for OS 11, and they're going to be working on making OS 12, or they're probably already in the process of making OS 12. So essentially, OS 9 would be if you wanted to have longer support and not have to risk, using a OS that was not going to get any support in the next couple of months here, or if something happens and OS 12 gets kind of delayed, or things like that. OS 9 is essentially for if you wanted to have a longer like support cycle, because it's supported until 2019, so a few more years. So this is obviously for servers. Of course, you probably wouldn't want to be using Zorin OS in a server environment, but you very well could if you wanted to. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be taking a look at OS 11 because it is the cutting edge and advanced, as it says. That these are the latest features as of this video. As I said, in a couple months that's going to change, and I may do a update video on OS 12. There's 4 different versions of Zorin OS 11, and I'll be kind of giving you a brief overview of why you might want to choose these 4 versions. Essentially, the core version is the basic features, all of the great free features, everything packed into the or into one operating system. Basically, all the core features. This is why it's called the core build. It is free, obviously. That's why it says free down here, and it comes in a 64 and 32-bit release. The Lite release is essentially the core release with a lot of the visual and enhancements, the non-essential features taken out to allow it to run better on older hardware, to basically allow it to be less demanding on older hardware and specialized hardware. And you'll notice that because of that, it is only available in a 32-bit download, because most older hardware does not come or does not have a 64-bit processor. We also have a business release, which is for if you want to use this in a business environment, which does cost €9, and an ultimate release, which is essentially all the everything that they have, all the great features packed into one release, which is €10. And you also get Zorin premium installation support, so kind of a, I guess, support software. I'm not that familiar with these 2 paid versions, as I've not actually used them. So that is pretty much an overview of the actual different versions of the OS. Now let's actually get into the VM virtual machine installation process. Like always, it wouldn't be a video on this channel if we didn't use VMware Workstation 11. That's kind of my, I guess you would say, staple. That is what we are going to be using. Of course, you can do this on a real computer, or use a different virtual machine software such as Oracle VM VirtualBox or Microsoft Virtual PC, although I would not recommend that because it doesn't really work well for Linux. Yeah, so let's just get started with the VM creation process here. So if you're using VMware Workstation 11, you can just follow along. But we're just going to want to create a new virtual machine. We're going to go with the typical option, and we're going to actually, for some reason I never do this, I don't know why, but we're just going to select the ISO from right here, and I actually already have it in here. As you can see, downloaded the Zorin OS 11 Core 64-bit, and this just kind of makes it easier later on, because then we don't have to go through and go into the settings and all that, and then find the ISO there. So we're going to select the ISO here. As I said, it is based off of Ubuntu or Ubuntu, however it is pronounced. I'm just going to pronounce it Ubuntu because it's easier to say. So you're going to want to choose Linux and then Ubuntu 64-bit, or just Ubuntu if you had the 32-bit version. You can name it anything. I'm going to call it Zorin OS X64. And for the maximum disk size, I'm going to actually increase this to 30 gigabytes so that we can install some software later on if I wanted to. And I'm going to store it as a single file because that's just easier if I wanted to move this to like a different PC. And then we're going to customize the hardware, and I do want to give this a dual core processor and 2 gigs of RAM. So we're going to go up to 2048, and then we're going to give it a dual core processor, and that's just going to allow it to run a little bit faster than it normally would. This is totally optional for you guys. And obviously, if you had a physical PC, you couldn't really change this on the fly. You have to go buy hardware. But that's just going to make it easier for us here to kind of have a faster and better experience, pretty much. So once we have the virtual machine created, you're just going to want to click on power on this virtual machine. Obviously, because this is not a beta build or anything like that, we're not going to have to bother with setting back the BIOS or the UEFI or anything like that. Now, from this point on, if you're doing this on a physical machine, these steps are going to be very, very similar, pretty much identical. Not much is going to be different. So on this screen, it's very straightforward. All you want to do is just select whatever language that you want to use. As you see, they have support for all of these languages right here. And you're going to want to click on either try or install Zorin. Trying is essentially going to load up the live CD, which is a feature in most Linux distros that is pretty nice. You can essentially try the OS and some of its features without doing anything to your hard drive, and everything runs off the CD. So if you're doing this on a PC that didn't have like a hard drive, for example, you could just use this to I guess browse the web, or something like that, or just kind of get a feel for what Zorin is like without installing it on your hard drive. Obviously, for our purposes, we're going to click on install Zorin, and it's going to load up here, and it's going to give you that you're going to need to have at least 3 GB of available drive space, and you're going to need to be connected to the internet, which we are. So you're going to want to click on continue, and we're going to choose the erase disk and install Zorin option. And you also get a few extra options. You can actually encrypt the disk encrypt the Zorin installation for some added security if you wanted to, or you can use logical volume management if you wanted to. If these options didn't appeal to you, or you wanted to manually set up the disk partitions, that you would want to click on something else. But just for our means, we're going to click on erase disk and install Zorin, and then click install now. And it's going to ask us that the following changes below will be written to the disk, and because this disk has not been formatted before, it's going to tell us that it will create a new partition as ext4 and a new partition as swap. So this is just to kind of I guess let you know that it is doing that. So we're just going to click on continue, because obviously it's going to do those things, and it should move on to the phase where it's actually so it's actually going to ask us where we are and everything. So we are in the Eastern time zone, so we'll click next or continue, same thing. And we are using the English US layout, and this is where that it you need to slightly move the window over, because this screen resolution is slightly off-centered. So you just kind of have to move it over to get access to the continue button. And we're going to type in our name and our computer name and everything. We're going to call this Zorin, not Sorin, Zorin VM. Username Michael. We won't have a password, and we'll log in automatically. Oh, I guess we have to have a password. Okay. Let's do Michael as the password. And this is where it begins to copy the files over to the disk. So, then it does this. It plays this. Let me turn the sound down there. Yeah, it plays this really loud intro video, and it's kind of going through you can see kind of down here. It's doing all the I guess technical side of things, where it shows you what it's doing. But then it's playing this, kind of video where it's saying welcome in a bunch of different languages. And I think, it says Zorin OS. I think is that all it does, is just a loop? Or, see if we do it. Yeah, so that was just a really loud thing. But, so yeah, it'll play that video, and then it goes on, and it kind of gives you some I guess overview of what Zorin OS is. It kind of tells you some features that it has. Some of see it kind of points out that it you know, comes with its own Photos app. It comes with GIMP and OpenShot, which I actually haven't tried out OpenShot before, but they've been saying that it's been, you know, coming to Windows for a long time, and I've been wanting to, you know, try it out and use it because I've heard it's a really good, like, you know, video editor, but I haven't seen it come to Windows yet. You get Firefox, you get Zorin Web Browser Manager, which is I'm guessing some software to like manage web browsers or something. I'm not. Here it is, kind of right here. You get Libre or LibreOffice, which is kind of like OpenOffice. It's a you know, free software suite that is like fully compatible with Microsoft Office. We get some, you know, like, you know, customization options, and it just basically says that Zorin OS is designed to be easy and safe, so don't hesitate to explore. If you have any questions, try the help menu in most applications, or you can go to the forum and people will basically try to help you there. So yeah, I guess what I'm going to do here is just kind of let it finish the install process, and we will come back and take a look at it once it's finished. Alright, so we are back, and the installation took longer than I thought it was going to. It kept kind of doing a bunch of stuff down here. But you can see it says the installation is complete, and we need to restart the computer in order to use it. So we're just going to click on Restart Now. And I believe that is all we're going to have to do. We should boot into Zorin OS. I am probably going to install VMware Tools just to, because I believe there is VMware Tools for Linux. For some reason this isn't doing anything, so I'm just going to force shut down and turn it back on, because it's not supposed to just show a black screen. There we go. Okay. So I guess that there is no boot screen. It just brings us to the desktop automatically. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, let's see if there is indeed VMware Tools. It looks like there is. So we're going to install VMware Tools. We will disconnect and override the lock. Yeah, it's a little bit different to install VMware Tools inside of Linux, because this is actually a tar.gz file as opposed to a exe with Windows, so it's a little bit different. I don't know why it's okay. So that's kind of odd. The maximize button doesn't really change for whatever reason. So we're just gonna, let's just see if we can actually open this, because yeah, it should open in the archive manager. And I think what we're going to do is extract all of this to the desktop. So let's go to desktop, and I want to make a new, keep directory structure, extract. Hopefully it's not going to just extract all these files without making a folder. Extraction completed. Okay. Apparently there's an update. We'll just remind me later, because I do want to get VMware Tools installed. So we have VMware Tools right here, and I think what we're going to do is, yeah, this seems to be like all these like nice little animations. Yeah, these seem just like, it just makes the OS seem like a lot, like, you know, pretty nice. So yeah, you can see here that the so-called start menu looks kind of Windows-like, but we're just going to launch, I'm going to search for terminal, because I think we can do a search for terminal. Okay, so we have a nice search thing, just like Windows here. I can spell terminal, right? There we go. Okay, so we are going to have to sudo this probably. So let's do this. Where are we? Right, so cd desktop, cd VMware Tools distrib, and we're going to, so we sudo we are going to install it to user bin. That's the right directory. All this should just be default. Enable connect to Upstart. In which directory you want to install the Damien files. All this should be fine. See, we have a, Okay, so it's asking us about backups, which is pretty nice. We'll just say, actually, I'll just click the X there. So yeah, all of this is pretty much you know, like you just want to press enter unless that you have all this installed in a different directory. And yeah, all I did was run this, which basically just like runs the .pl file, but you have to type sudo before that if you didn't see me do it in the you know, previous part of this clip. So you just have to type sudo period / vmware install.pl, type in your password, and then you're good. So it's going to be, so basically this is how you have to install VMware Tools on Linux. It has to do everything through the, I want to say console, but it's terminal. So as you saw right there, let me go back up. We are back to the command line. So we're going to go, it says we must restart our X session, which is basically the graphical front end of the session. But it says that we can run VMware Tools by invoking USR bin VMware toolbox. That's interesting. CMD from the command line. So I'm just going to copy this, and then, oh, that's right. Command C is Command C cancels out a command. Can we actually? Okay, nice. We can copy it. We need to manually start and log out and log back in. Okay. So I'm guessing we have to run this every time that we boot up. But I think we're not going to have to, because like all the graphical changes and everything should take effect. Like it should do the thing in, like, you know, VMware where it will like auto align everything. Well, let's make a quick text document, and I'll just paste this in here so we have it. So yeah, we're gonna have to restart our X session, which is essentially just logging out and logging back in. And yeah, there we go. So we now have the nice thing where it like auto corrects. So if I go full screen here, you'll see that it'll auto fit to full screen. So yeah, we are now running at full 1080p Zorin OS. So if you guys did not know how to do this, there you go. I've just showed you guys how to install VMware Tools on Zorin, as well as obviously install Zorin OS. And that is probably going to wrap it up for this video. I'm probably not going to be actually, you know, diving into this OS just yet, because this video has gone on a bit long. I think about 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm probably going to cut this clip here. We will, you know, go back to this sometime next week, or maybe even earlier than that, and we will take a look at Zorin OS, you know, fully in depth. Of course, I'm not going to go through everything, but I'll go through, you know, kind of like the major features and kind of what makes this a you know, unique version of Linux and why you may want to use it, or not really version of Linux, but a distribution of Linux. So I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, definitely be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to support the channel simply by shopping on Amazon, there's a link down below in the video description where you can simply shop on Amazon, and by doing that through the link, you will give me a small kickback from your purchase. It's totally safe and through Amazon, and it's, you know, supports the channel. All funds that I make through that is going to go right back into making these videos. Again, guys, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.